Sunday, mostly sunny, high 83. Monday, a chance of showers and possibly an afternoon thunderstorm with a high of 77. Then Tuesday, a chance of morning showers and a high of 59 degrees. Our newscast this hour is being brought to you by the J&J Spratt Funeral Home, located on 3rd Avenue in New Brighton, now serving their 4th generation, where their roots go deep into your community. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and beavercountyradio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
I know that it's a little early for me to jump to conclusions, but I'm going to jump to conclusions anyway. It's going to be a good day. I got reasons. I got reasons. Welcome, it's Teleforum. I got reasons. Hang on a second. 1, it's not snowing. It's going to be up in the 70s. 2, it's Friday. 3, for the first hour, I don't have to talk about stupid human being behavior because I get to talk about animals, and I absolutely believe in the end the animals are going to run everything anyway. Susan Salyards is my guest for the first hour, Beaver County Humane Society. We're going to talk about animals for the first hour, and then afterwards I'm going to talk about human beings behaving in animal-like fashion. You okay with that?
Sure. Well, how are you today?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me back.
We're talking, I've said this to you off the air, and I'll say it to you, I would rather talk about animals and the Humane Society than most of the time. I recommend to anyone, if you want to feel better about your day, you're on social media, I know. I'm on social media, the world is. Want to feel better about your day, follow the Facebook page for the Beaver County Humane Society. You scroll through gloom, despair, destruction. Oh, my God. Human decency and animals and wonderful. And so how difficult is it to leave that wonderful world? And I know it's not wonderful all the time, but do you have to make a transition in dealing with, you go deal with animals all day and that's brilliant?
Well,
and then now you got to go deal with people.
We deal with people too.
Yeah.
We deal with the owners a lot. And I'm blessed because I love my job. And I feel honored to have my job and to be able to support the mission of the Beaver County Humane Society because it's near and dear to my heart as well. And
how did you end up there?
Oh boy, I was in nonprofit management for many years, working at Pittsburgh Symphony, the Pittsburgh Zoo, and CPG Aquarium, other nonprofits. And when I had the opportunity to apply for the position, I was honored to do so. Having grown up in Beaver County, I wanted to serve a community that was near and dear to my heart.
And serve animals.
And serve animals and the people who love them.
All right. We're going to talk about animals today for the first hour. It's spay and neuter season. Why does my stomach cringe when I hear that phrase? Like when I hear Pirates home opener, spay and neuter season, it's important, isn't it?
It's very important, especially as we enter the spring season and we're already getting, community members bringing us mom cats with kittens. And that's what we're trying to stop. Unfortunately, Western Pennsylvania, like many parts of the country, are just overrun with cats and kittens. And so we're trying to stop that.
Does this happen every year?
It does. But we're chipping away at the issue. Dogs were a problem at one time. I have to say we very rarely get puppies. People want puppies now. So
is that what there's still the litters that weren't necessarily planned, but people will get puppies instead of cats?
Every once in a while we get puppies, but, we're just overrun with cats and kittens still. But I think we're not overrun with puppies because we've done such a good job at spaying and neutering dogs as well as licensing animals. Cats aren't licensed, and sometimes Fluffy is outside probably more than he or she should be. And if they're unaltered, they're looking to mate. And that's the problem. A female cat can start producing at 5 months and she can have, multiple litters per year. And you think, she's sometimes having up to 10 kittens at a time.
Okay. So
that adds up.
That's 40 or 50 kittens per year.
Per single animal.
Per
Absolutely.
single.
Yeah. So, that could, in 5 years, I think the number, she can produce upwards of 11,000, close to 12,000 kittens.
And how long does it take for a cat to grow into sexual maturity? Because if you're producing 50 kittens a year, they're not going to stay kittens either, are they?
No, not at all. And, again, females can start to reproduce it as early as 5 months.
Wow.
And you figure a male unaltered cat, he can probably produce kittens as long as he's alive.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, that's what he's out running around doing. You mentioned licensing. How does that help with this?
Well, I think it probably doesn't help, but it just makes you aware of how many animals are in the community because, through our treasurer's office, which is responsible for licensing of dogs, they can tell you how many households have dogs and
Does it imply a better pet owner that if somebody's going to follow the rules with licensing, they're more likely to understand the other stuff about a dog or a cat roaming free?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I just think that cats are seen to be, sometimes people will say it's inhumane to have a cat outside or to have a cat inside 100% of the time.
Why? I mean, what is their argument for that?
I think they think Fluffy wants to go outside. I've had many of stray cat, and once you bring them inside, a lot of times they don't want to go back outside and roam.
It's 12
fed.
Yeah, it's 12 degrees. I got a bowl of food and I got a couch. Why would I want to go sit under that tree?
Right. And, when you spay and neuter, that takes away that urge to go out and roam and to, procreate and look for the females or, so, that's the other thing, too, is why we like to promote. It
slows down the zest of life.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, they become fat and lazy, just like the rest of us.
Do pet owners take the shape of their pets, or do pets take the shape of their pet owners?
What do you think?
I don't know. I've seen examples of both, and you see it much more than me being at the Humane Society. How often does that happen? You see the dog come in first on the leash, and then the person comes in. It's like, oh my God, if that guy got his ears cropped, he's that dog.
Yeah. It happens.
Okay. How was the bunny jump? Yeah, this was something, and this is another reason you should follow the Humane Society on Facebook. There are events all the time. What was yesterday's bunny event?
We had our rabbit romp. It was the first one ever. So the community could come in, interact with our rabbits, and watch them romp in our education room. It was great fun. They were having a blast.
How many rabbits showed up for this?
I think we had 3 rabbits. Yes.
Well, how many rabbits do you need, though?
Right.
Yeah.
You just need 1 rabbit because they're quite comical. They are wonderful pets. We were talking about this earlier before we went on air.
Right. You were defending them.
Right.
Yeah.
They can be litter trained. I mean, you have to know how to hold a rabbit because they're a little different in terms of their structure, but they make wonderful pets. People who have rabbits swear by rabbits.
What's the I'm trying to think, what's the selling point for them that cats wouldn't have? I'm not picking on rabbits. I'm curious. I grew up where rabbits weren't pets, and I see people with them. There's somebody that lives in Ambridge that has a rabbit that walks the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it.
That to me is odd. Tell me why that's not odd.
Well, I think, pets are for everyone. And, nowadays, even reptiles, we've had bearded lizards come into the shelter.
I saw
We
one.
have turtles right now at the shelter. We've had a chinchilla. We've had a couple chinchillas this year. So we get a wide range of animals beyond just cats and dogs because people love their pets. And, we now have people who love house rats. They're very intelligent animals.
Now, you should explain that the rats that people keep as pets are not the rats that you see scurrying around on the street in sewers.
They're not like a river rat.
Right.
They're not that big, but they're like just a regular normal, a little bit bigger than a mouse.
Okay.
But people, they do have a following. And I think it's just like you're a cat dog, you're a dog,
You're a dog person?
You're a rabbit person, or you're a rat person.
Is that how you introduce yourself at a party, though? Hi, I'm a rat person.
I don't know.
What
I'm
is
not a
it?
rat person.
Thank you. What is a rat person? Are there any specific personality traits that you see when somebody comes in with a rat or a lizard?
I think it's just like anything else. They're passionate about their pet.
Rabbits, okay. Lizards, not so much. What is a chinchilla? Is it like a weasel's cousin?
It's actually an exotic animal. I
Okay.
believe they're from South America originally. They have a very heavy coat because their habitat in the wild is more of, I think, a colder environment. So you see them in zoos a lot more than you see them in private households, but they are sometimes becoming more of a popular pet. But I think just like with any pet, the important thing is you have to know how to care for the pet properly, because that's where our humane officer comes into play, because that's why we have the lizard, the bearded dragons, and the chinchillas with us, because they were confiscated from houses that they weren't being well cared for.
How much do you have to keep up to date with all of that information? Because if I volunteered at the Beaver County Humane Society, I could handle the dogs and I could handle the cats. I would have no idea how to be helpful to a chinchilla or a bearded dragon.
Well, we not only have to keep up on it, but our veterinarians have to
Right.
keep up on it. Our vet techs have to keep up on it. In fact, the one bearded lizard that came in was not in good shape, so we had to whisk him off to an exotic veterinarian who specializes in their care. And fortunately, veterinarians are wonderful advocates for shelters. And this veterinarian actually offered to come and work with our staff and teach them more about exotics. So we're very blessed in that respect that we have a very helpful community around us.
Susan Salyards is my guest. She is the executive director of the Beaver County Humane Society. I've got more questions, and they won't be about lizards. Hang on a second.
It's the place that makes your ears happy. The sound of a Beaver County radio broadcast live from the St. Barnabas studios at 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
Keeping you warm, keeping you cool.
April is oftentimes the month when it's common to feel uncomfortable, and it has nothing to do with tax deadlines. That's because April has some of the biggest temperature swings of any time of the year, and an older or ineffective home comfort system may struggle to keep you comfortable when it can be freezing overnight, then in the 80s the next day. If you felt a little uncomfortable lately and don't have tax issues, then it must be your furnace or air conditioning system. Call Beaver Valley Sheet Metal at 724-775-7300 and put yourself at ease. Click BBSM, the number 1, to find out more about how easy it can be to repair, upgrade, and even replace your equipment, keeping you warm and keeping you cool, and doing both sometimes in the same day. At this time of year, it's BBSM Heating and Air Conditioning, PA number 3285.
It's time to walk to cure arthritis. The Arthritis Foundation's walk is back in person nationwide. They're raising awareness and funds to support the nearly 60 million Americans who battle chronic arthritis pain, including 300,000 kids. That's who this fundraiser is fighting for. Money raised makes it possible to offer life-changing solutions and ways for the arthritis community to connect with each other. Donations support tools that help arthritis patients manage their pain, advocacy efforts for new laws that make health care more accessible, and research and science to discover better treatments and ultimately a cure. Thanks to this Arthritis Foundation event, people with arthritis can live a fuller life in less pain. Sign up today and connect with others at this family event. Register at walktocurearthritis.org and help rock the walk.
Spring is in the air, so put some spring in your step and head out to Al's Corner in Koppel. Whether you're looking for a quick lunch or dinner or even your favorite snack, Al's Corner is the place to go. Al's also has lunch and dinner specials Monday through Friday, like tacos on Tuesdays and their world-famous beef tips over noodles on Thursdays. Al's Corner is open 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. The outside grill will be opening in May, and follow Owls on Facebook for news about opening day of the grill, plus all their other specials. Owls Corner is located at the corner of Route 18 and 351 in Koppel.
1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 95.7 FM. This is being Facebook streamed live. Susan is here. Susan Salyards is the executive director of the Beaver County Humane Society. I mentioned volunteering earlier, and you brought up some people, and we've talked about fundraising before, and I don't want to forget this. The thrift store that operates here is one of your main fundraisers. I know this because Mike Romine posts videos, him lurking around a thrift store. It's unsettling. But explain to people what the thrift store is. You can go in and buy stuff. You can donate stuff. That's another way to help with the Humane Society.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful place, and we're at 1900 7th Avenue. It's a very big store. We sell everything from furniture to household items, and obviously lots of clothing as well. We are blessed with the donations that we receive, so much so that we have launched an eBay page because
Really?
yeah, some of our better items, some of the things that might be worth more money, we get people who buy things from California, a lot of vintage things, a lot of collectibles. So it's wonderful, and it is a major revenue generator for our organization. Pre-COVID, it was generating about $300,000 gross.
Are you seeing the numbers start to hint back up?
They're starting to go up. We recently closed for a week in late February, reopened, I think, on March 1st. We repainted, we washed the floors, we reorganized a little bit. We kind of
Wait a minute. That means it doesn't have that thrift store smell now?
No, we've always gotten the wonderful compliments that
Because thrift stores got their own, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a thrift store.
I think you would be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
I would encourage you to come in and check it out. Wide aisles, lots of merchandise. It changes very frequently because we get so many donations.
Where did the donations come from? Individuals, company? I mean,
All
because if you're
over.
talking about having to start an eBay page for big ticket items, they got to be coming from somewhere decent.
Sometimes businesses, if they have overage or stuff that just won't sell, they'll donate it to us. But majority of our donations are from the community members, and they love the fact that they can give their gently used items to us to resell, and it helps to generate revenue for the animals. It's a win-win.
I'm trying to think of a slogan. Help dogs and cats and rabbits and lizards.
Sure.
Thrift store prices without the thrift store smell.
I like it.
All right, we'll go with that. Susan's my guest. She will be after the news, too.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us. We work around it and we live around it every day. And we just become desensitized to what's around us.
We go through safety training and, we try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen, but you just never know.
There are so many farmers that I think take for granted all of the underground utilities that are there.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
I mean, we kind of know what's out here, but all at the same time, you just always call.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Whether you're installing drain tile or doing any sort of digging, always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked and have the depth confirmed. That's farming with care. But if a line does get damaged, go somewhere safe and call 911.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 21st from 9 to 5 to spend the day at the Beaver County Airport for the annual Wings and Wheels Aviation Appreciation Day and Classic Car Show. Air Heritage Museum, in partnership with Beaver County Radio and the Community College of Beaver County, invite you to spend the day enjoying historical airplanes, classic cars, delicious foods, and homemade baked goods. Local businesses have joined ranks to sponsor the Wings and Wheels event at the Colonel level. The Health Hut Stores, Bethany DeLuca with State Farm Insurance, Tri-County McDonald's in Chippewa, Sherwin-Williams, the Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, Rochester Machine Corporation, and Moon Township Ford. Also, a special thank you to St. Barbara's Health System for their broadcast coverage. Do not miss the spectacular Wings and Wheels event at the Beaver County Airport on Saturday, May 21st from 9 till 5.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
Hey, good morning. As we're expecting increasing clouds throughout the day today, high's going to be 67 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. The leading candidates for the Democratic nomination for Pennsylvania's open U.S. Senate seat held their first live televised primetime debate last night. John Fetterman is the state's lieutenant governor, and he has led polls and fundraising. He took the brunt of the attacks from State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta of Philadelphia and U.S. Representative Connor Lamb of Mount Lebanon. Perhaps the sharpest exchange in Thursday night's debate centered on a 2013 incident when, shotgun in hand, Fetterman confronted someone he believed was involved with gunfire on a nearby street in Braddock, where Fetterman was the mayor at the time. The debate also exposed differences over suspending the federal gas tax and opposing new natural gas drilling leases. The Aliquippa School Board has announced 2 vacancies. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sadie Giordano has more on that.
Aliquippa School Board met Wednesday night for its regular meeting and approved the resignation of the high school nurse. The board is taking applications and resumes for a school board vacancy. All applications must be turned in by Wednesday, April 27, 2022. They may be emailed to dmcbride@equipsd.org. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
PennDOT is announcing long-term single-lane closures on Business Loop 376 in Moon Township that will begin on Monday, weather permitting. The closure will be in both directions on the loop from 9 a.m. Monday continuously through early June as crews conduct storm inlet and medium barrier removal and replacement work. The lane closures will occur between the eastbound Halverson Drive on-ramp and the I-376 Moon Exit 57 interchange. Crews will work in an approximate 1-mile segment of roadway before moving on to the next section. Applications for unemployment benefits inched down last week as the total number of Americans collecting aid fell to its lowest level in more than 50 years. Jobless claims fell by 2,000 to 184,000 last week, according to the Labor Department. The 4-week average of claims, which levels out week-to-week volatility, rose by 4,500 to 177,250. About 1.42 million Americans were collecting traditional unemployment benefits in the week of April the 9th, the fewest since February the 21st of 1970. 2 years after the coronavirus pandemic plunged the economy into a brief but devastating recession. American workers are enjoying extraordinary job security. Philadelphia health officials say that they're ending the city's indoor mask mandate, abruptly reversing course just days after people in the city had to start wearing masks again amid a sharp increase in infections. The Board of Health voted yesterday to rescind the mandate. That's according to Philadelphia Health Department, which released a statement that cited decreasing hospitalizations and a leveling of case counts. The health department did not release data to back up its reversal on masking, saying more information will be provided today. Philadelphia became the first major U.S. city to reinstate its indoor mask mandate, but faced fierce blowback as well as a legal effort to get the mandate thrown out. Pennsylvanians have until Monday to submit public comments on a draft environmental impact statement for a gas pipeline expansion in northeastern Pennsylvania. Emily Scott has more.
Some critics of the project say the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission hasn't properly considered all the effects of the proposal. The regional energy access expansion by the Transcontinental Gas Pipeline Company would mean 22 miles of pipeline in Luzerne County and nearly 14 miles in Monroe County. Jessica O'Neill with the group Penn Future says the impact statement doesn't go far enough in discussing how additional pipelines would affect natural resources.
This pipeline would cut across really sensitive, exceptional value waterways, and we don't think that the draft EIS does enough to look at the cumulative impact of the cuts through these waterways. There's endangered and protected species. There are a lot of people that rely upon the high-quality waterways for their living.
The public comment deadline is 5 p.m. Monday, and comments can be submitted online. A spokesperson for FERC says the commission will address issues raised in the comments and provide recommendations in a final environmental impact statement in July. I'm Emily Scott.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM. Along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Increasing clouds today with a high of 67 degrees. Then overnight tonight, a chance of showers after 3 a.m. with a low of 51. Start the day out tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, then gradually becoming sunny with a high of 81 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 83. Monday, a chance of showers and possibly an afternoon thunderstorm with a high of 77. Then Tuesday, a chance of morning showers and a high of 59 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News. 95.7 and 99.3 FM presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com.
You're listening to Teleforum with your host, Eddie Crow. The numbers to call are 724-843-1888, 724-774-1888. Join the conversation on Teleforum.
Conversation this first hour is with our friend Susan. Susan Salyards is the Beaver County Humane Society Executive Director, and it's always wonderful to talk to you. We're talking about spay and neuter season. How much money does it cost to get through 1 year? We were talking about fundraising earlier on the subject of spaying and neutering and kitten season. Last time I saw you, there's a machine that you needed that was several $1,000s. We're talking about budgets to make all of these activities and all these processes happen. What is the budget?
Our total budget is $2.7 million, and of that, 75% is generated through fundraising.
That's annually?
Annually, yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
What's the biggest outlay of money? Is it the
people.
Facility? Oh, it's the people?
It's people.
Okay.
You have to pay salaries and get people like a veterinarian who are qualified and veterinary technicians. And, just like everybody else, we're struggling with making sure that we're able to compete in the job market to recruit people to come and be on our team and care for the animals.
Has it gotten tougher?
It has gotten a lot tougher, yes.
Why has it gotten, or for what positions? For the veterinarians
All
or
positions.
For the everything?
Everything. But even our thrift store in Beaver Falls, we're recruiting right now.
Okay.
When you can work for $15 at McDonald's or Aldi's or Sheetz, and we're a nonprofit and trying to be very resourceful with our resources, while we try to provide fair wages, it's difficult, and so we have had to increase our hourly wage rate. But there are a lot of people that have left the workforce and just don't want to work or have changed careers. So we were recruiting there. We're also recruiting at the shelter for basic line staff to work directly with the animals. A lot of people think that you come in, you cuddle animals and walk dogs and play with them, but it's a lot more than that. It's cleaning.
Okay, please, I'm so glad you phrased it like that. Explain to somebody when they walk in, because I think that is everybody's thought. Oh, I'm going to volunteer, and that means I'm going to have a job petting puppies. Right. That's a part of the job. That's not all of that job, is it? No. And, shelters are very stressful environments, so sometimes we're not seeing the best side of the animal. They're stressed out. Right. So they have a tendency to be aggressive, or they're pent up in a cage, and they're strong animals. They don't know where they are. They've never been there before. Right. They're in new surroundings. They're around other animals. So we have to deal with that, as well as making sure that they're healthy. And, we have to do things that, I always say to people, when you take the dog for the walk, you have to pick up the poo, and you kind of have to look at it too, because that's one way that we assess the health of an animal, is to make sure that there's nothing there that shouldn't be. That's the way we assess the health of us. True. All right. Okay, it's getting gross. When do you know that a volunteer or a staff member is going to stay? Because you can make money. You're not going to make as much as you would somewhere else. there has to be an emotional attachment that kicks into place. Can you see that when it happens?
Absolutely. And I think we can pretty much tell within the first couple months if a person's going to make it or not. I mean, we've had people, I'm sure other people have in employment situations, leave after a week. But, I think, they think like, I'm a glorified dishwasher. Well, that's a big part of the job because cleanliness is another, I think, a very important component of the health of animals. We get a wonderful comment. A lot of people will walk into the shelter and say, doesn't smell like an animal shelter. I mean, we're fortunate that in our relatively new facility, because it's hard to believe next year we'll have been in that new building. I still call it the new shelter.
Right.
10 years. So, but we get wonderful comments about it smells great in here considering it's an animal shelter. And that's because we have pretty much 100% air exchange in that building. It was especially built to house animals, and we have 5 HVAC units, and all that costs money. Getting back to the budget,
I was going to say that's part of that $2.7 million annually, the paying the electric bill. If somebody comes and they say, I might want to do this, I might want to work here, what questions do you pose to them to let them get it sorted out? Do you give them do you start with here's the negative stuff about it?
Absolutely.
Do you?
We try to be very much upfront. The same thing with the euthanasia question. That's something.
Well, that's in the same vein.
Yeah, and because I'm happy to announce that our live release rate is 96%. That's phenomenal for a shelter that accepts animals from the community. We're an open door shelter.
You accept any animal?
We do. We try
Right.
to limit our owner surrenders when we have space, so we will schedule them to come in, or we will offer other solutions. We work with a lot of other rescue groups so that we can accommodate, people that really need us. But we also do animal control for 20 boroughs and townships. So we want to make sure that we have space for strays and be able to accept the strays or the humane cases. So that's where volunteers, again, in fostering, play a vital role in our animal shelter.
How often does it happen that somebody fosters and they don't give the cats back or they don't give the dogs back? Because I've got a couple friends that foster cats, and they say when that cat gets adopted, it's the greatest thing ever, and it breaks your heart because it leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
There's people who are very good at it and that foster continuously for us.
Right.
There are other people like me. I became a foster failure, which is a good thing. We like foster failures.
Okay. That meant
I fostered.
I know what that meant. Go ahead.
I adopted the animal. Yeah.
You said, I can't let him go. What was the animal, dog or cat?
It was a dog. She was a fearful dog. So,
okay.
The shelter was like, it would be better to get her out of the shelter, be with another dog. I have another dog. They got along. So, I said to my husband, let's foster. And after a couple months, he was like, when's this experiment going to end?
Yeah, when's Fluffy go off to college again? And
right.
How long did it take before the dog knew that she had you?
Oh gosh, I think she knew she had us right away.
Yeah.
I knew she had us right away. I was trying to be strong for my husband, but
now, did your husband at that point say, "Okay, we'll keep this one, but don't bring any more home"?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But
Have you brought any more home?
No, I haven't actually, because at that point I had 5 animals. I had 3 cats and 2 dogs, which outnumbered the humans in the house. So.
That's how those sci-fi movies turn bad when the number of dogs or when the number of animals is higher than the number of humans.
Right. Right.
So what makes a good foster person? Because it is a unique skill set. You're opening your home to animals that you really don't know.
It is, and I think it's a matter of taste or preference. We have wonderful fosters that all they do are cats and kittens or neonatal cats. Neonatal cats, kittens.
That's when you're getting up every 3 or 4 hours and eyedropper feeding, aren't you?
It is round-the-clock care, and that's why fostering is so important, because we just don't have that ability to do it at the shelter. So they will keep the cat and kittens and mother sometimes if they have the mom cat, and then care for the kittens until they're 2 pounds, and we can get them in and get them spayed and neutered and get them out into happy homes.
Something popped into my head. I saw a story the other day. It was about people that when the pandemic hit, they were stuck at home. They were bored. They were lonely. They adopted a pet. And now that they're going back to their, pre-pandemic life, now they're surrendering the pet. Is that something you've seen an increase in?
No.
Good.
And I participate in a lot of national forums where they monitor shelter data. Very few shelters across the country have seen that, even though I know it's been talked about in the media, and we have not. Occasionally, I think if somebody, but you know what? That's in the best interest of the person and the animal. That's why we have shelters, is that if they need to bring the animal back, we would rather them give it to us than rehome it if it came from our shelter, so that we can ensure that it's going to a proper home.
Okay, so it was the media taking a small issue and making a story out of it.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. When people bring in animals, is there any one reason more than the others? Because on your Facebook page, you posted this person's owner passed away, this person owner had to move. I see the reasons, but is there one that's most of the time?
I think in our community, just because we do have an older demographic, it's the family member has passed away or has moved in to an assisted living facility. Family can't take the animal because they either live out of state or they already have animals. So those are probably the two most often that we see.
Right.
I will say, though, we also see homelessness in Beaver County, and we have people living in their cars with their pets, and it just gets to the point where they can't do it anymore. But it just shows, I think, that people love their pets, and that's one of the things that we're actually trying to expand, is to work with agencies like the Cornerstone of Beaver County and other agencies in Beaver County that deal with homelessness, to make sure that if people have pets, we can get them vet care, we can get them basic shots. So that's something we're looking to expand in the coming year.
How soothing is that to see human nature in a dark time still care more about animals than sometimes they do themselves?
It's amazing. And again, I think it reinforces why I do what I do. And be able to, I'm proud of the fact that where we've come during the pandemic and before the pandemic in the last 10 years in the new shelter, because we're able to provide more programs and services for the community, and we look to make that grow in the future.
Tell people how they can look up all the services. If you don't follow the Humane Society on Facebook, you might not know about it. Susan Salyards is the executive director of the Beaver County Humane Society. Where can they go and get all the information? Because 3 or 4 times a week, there's something going on that I see a post about.
Our website's a wonderful asset, and it's very interactive, so people can actually make appointments through the website for our spay-neuter surgeries, for our vaccine clinics. They can fill out the pre-adoption form if they're interested in adopting. At that point, once they submit the form, then one of our customer service personnel will call them and make an appointment and talk to them about what they're looking for in terms of their pet needs. So yeah, our website's very, very.
If I come in and I want to adopt, what's the questionnaire? What are you going to ask me?
It just asks you basic questions. Do
you have a roof over your head? Can you feed?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Just absolutely amazed at the work that the Humane Society does. 75% of that budget comes from people.
Absolutely. People, corporations, small businesses, foundations. It's a diverse funding stream.
Mm-hmm.
Dog banks and businesses.
Wait, what, dog bank?
Bars. Yes, they're little dogs that are plastic that people can put their coins in.
Oh, I thought you meant a bank run by dogs first.
No,
okay.
No. But people sell candy bars. People have third-party fundraisers. Now we're coming upon the summertime. Young kids, instead of getting birthday presents, will say, give a gift in my honor.
Right.
I think that's fabulous. That's the other thing, too, that I feel blessed to be in this position, because you get to see so many good things, and the caring of kids and their parents and the community in general.
I remember the Facebook post. It was a little boy's birthday, and said, "No, I don't want nothing." I thought, man, what 9-year-old kid, I think he was What 9-year-old kid says he doesn't want a present? That is so emotionally uplifting to see that.
It is, and it happens every day, and we're truly blessed, and it keeps us motivated. And when we see bad things, and then you see good things like that, you can't hope for anything better.
Because of the pandemic, everything in the world changed, including funding. Is that coming back?
It is.
Hinting at it, at least?
It is.
Okay.
We were blessed that during the pandemic, the county stepped up and through the CARES Act had been able to give us an additional grant. We got a PPP loan. This year is my concern because there isn't a PPP loan. So
right.
So that was a nice little fail safe that if anything else happened that we could pivot to that. Because originally the thrift store had closed down during the pandemic at the very beginning. Even now, people aren't shopping as much. So, it's one of the reasons why we did the little interior facelift.
Right.
So that hopefully we can get more shoppers back in our store.
And it doesn't smell like a thrift store.
It smells fabulous.
Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, Susan? I love when you come in. You brighten my day with your presence and the conversation.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And we have our Tea for Tales event coming up. If anybody likes to go to a tea, it's on a Sunday in May.
What is Tea for? Wait.
Tea for Tales. It's just a tea event. So
okay.
A lot of mostly women like to go to the tea, but we have men as well. So.
Okay.
But it's a Sunday afternoon.
Do I bring a cat with me, or is it just a fundraiser?
It's just a fundraiser.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're going to do designer purse bingo again in August. So again, watch our website for both of those activities and other events. We're always promoting our activities, Facebook, Instagram. We now are on YouTube as well as our Facebook or our website. Where
are you with getting that one fancy machine you needed?
I just submitted a grant for $10,000 and I'm waiting. So, fingers
I don't
crossed.
remember what the machine did, but
blood
work.
You analyze blood.
All right.
Yep.
It's BeaverCountyHumaneSociety.org, correct?
Correct.
Susan Salyards is the executive director. Absolutely beamed my Friday morning on Teleforum. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.